This one, I've been saying it a lot. I don't know if I've said it much on the podcast or not, but right now we're working with large language models. Large, I meant to say the word large there and exaggerate it because, if you think about GPT-4, it is 1.5 to 1.7 trillion parameters. And all of that to be said, that costs maybe $500 million to train some ridiculous number.
Oh, you're talking about GPT specific.
I'm talking about GPT.
Yeah, because we were talking about $500 million to train GPT, and then
$1 billion for the new. What's Gemini?
Gemini, yeah.
Gemini
was trained a lot faster though.
It was, and has 1.6 trillion parameters. What you're going to see is more domain-specific applications. Mm-hmm. You're going to have ones that are finance-based. You're going to have ones that are law only, and you're going to get rid of a lot of the noise because hallucinations happen because it's pulling from everywhere.
Yeah.
When all you really want to know is something about mortgages or something like that. So then you just want one specific for that. A company that is doing that I thought was really interesting, we'll put this in the show notes, is Mistral, Mistral. Right now, what they have created is basically 8 different domains of data. And so if you ask a question, it will probably only look at 2 of those domains, and just based on whatever your question is. So instead of looking at all of the parameters, it's only looking at, 25% of them.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot faster, it's a lot more efficient, and it allows you to continue to expand.
Yeah.
So this idea of connecting AIs is really interesting to me. But create one specific for what you need, and then do you need that to connect to the really big one, or is it good enough for just your application? Then it's good enough.
Okay, so I think when I saw domain-specific applications, I wasn't thinking that. That's actually a really cool way to manage AI at scale, I think. I thought what you meant by, and this was something that I was bringing in, was the domain-specific uses, meaning that like we've got the Dr. GPT, or we've got with the introduction of GPTs as its own thing. Like each one of those could be something. Like I've been working on a help desk GPT.
Yeah, and that is.
And it's that's the thing where I don't know if it's safe to say by the end of 2024 or not. So this will be my bold prediction, is that we have certain jobs that are replaced in a direct way by a GPT or by a bot.
Yeah, I think that is bold because the ramifications are bold, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people are not. The folks who are crying ethics aren't necessarily all talking about plagiarism. Some are talking about how you're going to upset the economy and things like that, and that is going to happen. And so going back to what I was saying before, like the best way to stay safe in your job, if you've got like a fringe job potentially, is to start looking into pivoting into managing the infrastructure of what it is that you do instead of doing the job directly. And what I mean by that is like somebody's got to feed the bot information.
Yep.
Somebody's got to maintain there's still going to be personal touch and everything. So it can't be completely gone. So can you do QC or can you do maintenance in some way, shape, or form? Start to figure those things out. Maybe it's something that's worthwhile for us to talk about. Like what are the top 5 jobs around AI?
Yeah, and we did. I know we did a Data 4 on that, but we got to dive into that and get into the skills needed. But the truth is, if you're not in a position where your job touches data or you have to know something about data, you're going to get replaced probably.
Well, I can tell you that one skill that you need is organizational skills. Digital organization skills is going to be a must, because if you're going to work with it, it's going to if you're going to work with AI, it can't be wrong, or it's got to be wrong as little as possible, which means that if you're going to input or feed into AI, you've got to be organized.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to get started. So pro tip for 2024, figure out how you do your files, how you how you keep up with tasks and all that kind of stuff we've talked about before with personal process, because you've got to be strict and rigid and accountable if you're going to remain.
Yeah. And so just to finish mine up, when I first started thinking of domain-specific applications, it was create your own for your company and then use, the GPT-4s of the world and things like that. That is still going to happen. But Mistral has me thinking differently now. Now you can create your own, and then there can be other ones that you can just bolt on, as opposed to this big one that's just out there. And maybe that'll get rid of a lot of the noise. Because I've seen examples of people, asking for help from a chatbot, and they're able to ask it, who won last night's Pistons game, which, by the way, was not the Detroit Pistons. They're on a 28-game losing streak.
Oh, man. Literally nobody cares.
Yeah, I know, but it's my team, darn it. And it was giving it the answer when it's a mortgage company.